this supposed MAGA radicalized
Maybe
army.
instead of talking to the governor, you should talk about the Haitian immigrant community in Springfield that is being menaced by these people. There have been reports that these people cannot send their children to school. There have been reports of property damage. One of the Haitian newspaper has shut down as they have been under threat. Maybe you should talk to Haitians.
That is Elie Mystal on CNN. And I am Mike Sachs here with Court Accountability and a law and politics correspondent with MeidasTouch. And I have Elie Mystal here with us right now, justice correspondent at The Nation. And Elie, I want you to watch one more thing you said, because that was a pretty interesting hit and we should be seeing more about it.
What I mean is, look, when you've had this kind of language about somebody be the underpinning of a campaign for years and intensely for the last several months, the only way to unwind it is for the people who've been saying it, chiefly the president and the vice president, to go on TV and say, you know what? We went too far, and what we said, honestly, is not true. The country will not.
Okay, I think the Democrats will tamp down their language about Trump the moment Trump tamps down his language about the Democrats, about immigrants, about people of color, about women, and not a moment before.
What about how many times are we going to shoot at him?
Is your argument literally
Wait a minute, but
that you are not under threat unless somebody directly takes a shot at you? Is that actually what you're saying? Do you have access to Secret Service files about how many threats Harris and Biden have received over the past year? How many threats Barack Obama, the first black president, received for 8 years while he was in the White House? Do you have those Secret Service files, or are you just out here talking because somebody was caught in the bushes on Saturday?
Somebody.
If you want something done, if you want to get away from this violence and hatred, the clearest thing to do is to take away the weapons that these people are using to cause the violence and hatred. So, rhetoric does not kill people. Guns do.
So your
rhetoric does not kill people. Guns do. Elie, I want you to unpack a bit more of what you said there, because we got a little more time to talk about it. And I think you had a lot of interesting, strong points that should have further explanation.
Republicans are in a tough spot, if you think about it, right? They support one of the most obviously violent people to ever run for office in former President Donald Trump. They support a person who conducts what the scholars would call stochastic terrorism against vulnerable communities, where he spreads lies and misinformation and makes people afraid of vulnerable communities with hopes that their neighbors, the neighbors of these vulnerable people, will, in the words of Henry II, rid Trump of these turbulent immigrants, right? That's the candidate they support. And now that violence, from reports mainly done by disaffected Trump voters, is coming back around on Donald Trump. And they want the sympathy for that. They want the sympathy for, they now have the candidate who is being shot at. They want us to come together to denounce political violence, which of course everybody does, but they want to denounce political violence in such a way as to also shut down legitimate attacks on Donald Trump's positions and character and plans for the nation. So they want it both ways. They want to have the violent, hateful rhetoric when it helps them, when it helps inflame the passions of anti-immigration, when it helps inflame people to storm the Capitol on January 6th. They want all the violent rhetoric they can drum up for those times. But when political violence is visited upon Donald Trump, they want everybody to tamp down the rhetoric and only play nice and not talk about Trump as a uniquely dangerous threat to American democracy. So they want it both ways, and they can't have it. They can't have it both ways. I know that there are some liberals, there are some Democrats that are willing to give it to them both ways, but I am not. I'm going to force them to choose, right? Either you choose to be a party that does not incite violence against vulnerable people who are not protected 24/7 by Secret Service, by an elite bodyguard force. Either you choose to be the party that rises above, or you choose to be the party that stays in the muck with the threats and misinformation of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And if you choose to stay down in the muck, know that I will meet you there. Know that I will meet you in the trench. The days of going high while y'all go low, those days are over. If you want a trench fight, we will fight in the trenches. If you want a mud fight, we will fight in the mud. We will fight you people on the beaches. We will fight you in the alleys. We will fight Republican lies and misinformation wherever they are. So you can rise above or you can go low, but either way, you will be opposed by people who love this country, by people who love democracy, by people who love truth and facts and freedom.
Yeah, and Elie, everything you said plus one. And in addition, when he was confronted with his anti-democratic talk at the election, or at the debate, his response was rubber and glue. No, Harris, you're the one who's anti-democratic and against democracy and wants to turn this country. It was an act of projection.
Yeah.
And that's been one response, and the other response has been, stop saying I'm going to destroy democracy because it's inspiring people to try to kill me. That's the response. Now, political violence is bad, awful, malignant on our society, and no one has endorsed it. No one, at least of those on the Democratic side of the ledger. No one, right? Well, if you hear Harris's response, Biden's response to each of these attempts at Trump's life is no, bad. No, this is awful, and we're hoping that Trump makes a swift recovery, and we're glad that he wasn't shot. All of that, right? That's what you hear, and unequivocally.
Not only, Mike, will I obviously co-sign and agree with your unequivocal denunciation of political violence. I share it too. I'll go you one better. It's tactically stupid. If you are a person like me, if you are a person who believes in American democracy and wants to see this country restored, you need Trump healthy and alive, right? You need him to survive because you need him to be defeated by the American people, because only defeating Trump through the structures of democracy can democracy be revitalized. All right. Having him murdered, having him martyred, that would be the worst thing for my position. That would be the worst thing for my agenda. Nothing would make Trump stronger than making him a martyr. I pray. I'm not a particularly spiritual man, but I pray that doesn't happen. It serves no use. If the goal is the restoration of American democracy, then democracy must defeat Donald Trump, not a crazy assassin's bullet. So while, yes, I always agree that political violence is morally reprehensible, and unequivocally so, it's also tactically freaking stupid. And so I thank the Secret Service for their protection. I hope they do a better job. I mean, you can always hear these reports of other things the Secret Service could have done. I hope they take threats to Trump seriously, and I hope they protect him because he needs to be protected so he can lose in the normal democratic way.
That's Elie Mystal, Justice Correspondent with The Nation. I'm Mike Sachs, Senior Advisor with Court Accountability and the Law and Politics Correspondent here at MeidasTouch. Keep watching us here at the MeidasTouch Network.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.